Hello guys, welcome to the platform of Dream Academia. I hope you are doing fine and preparing for your examinations. So guys, remember always that there is no substitute for hard work. The dreams of JEE, NEET or whatever examination or colleges that you have set have to be achieved by you. So the hard work must be put forward by you. No one can take that part of the share, right? So remember always that you have to work continuously towards your goal without thinking about the result. Once you work hard, you will automatically achieve your results. Okay, so keeping all these in mind, let's start our today's video. Now, last week I brought about the video of West Bengal Joint Entrance Examination, where I told you all about WebG, the eligibility criteria, how to appear for it, the required marking scheme, the syllabus. Okay, so today I will be discussing about the important concepts of mathematics for WebG. Okay, so here I will be telling you the questions that have come from each chapter over the past 5 years. Okay, so here I will discuss mainly about the um, last 5 years. I will focus from 2016 up till last year, which is 2020. I will also give you a brief analysis of the important concepts of each and every chapter that is generally asked in WebG and is very important from the point of view of WebG. So guys, let's start. So first, I have just put here the approximate weightage of the different topics. So as you can see, vectors has 7% weightage. Now this weightage has been calculated on the basis of the last 5 years, as I said earlier. Okay. So vectors has 7%, probability has 7%. Now here, in many cases, the questions have some mixed chapters, mixed concepts. So in those cases, the chapter which has greater importance or has more application in that particular question, that has been given that weightage. Okay. So here, if you see, you can see that calculus portion limits, indefinite integration, definite integration. So these are three topics. If you see, it has 16% weightage, so which is a huge one. And calculus in any exam, if you see JEE also, has a good weightage percentage, right? So then you can see theory of equations has 4% weightage, complex number has 4% weightage, PNC. Now PNC, complex numbers, these are comparatively on the tougher side for some students. So accordingly you can see it. And three-dimensional geometry and vectors and 3D. So now these questions are generally on the easier side, and it also has nearly 12 to 13% weightage. So if you are doing vector and 3D, then that will be an advantage for you. And matrix determinant has 5% weightage, sets relation function has 5%. Now here I have not now this function part is also in calculus, where you have questions, mixed questions of limits and functions, of definite integration with functions, right? So this function question is only, now this part is only for those domain and range type of questions, those that you get one function on two function, that is included over there. And for the other part, I have included in definite integration, right? So now let's look at the questions that have come in the previous year. Now here, if you see, integration, AOD, limit continuity differentiability, and differential equation, these four topics, the giants of calculus, if you add up, suppose for last year only, if I add up 6, 8, 6 and 4, so I get 24 questions have come from calculus portion, and there are 75 questions in total. So that is nearly 1/3 of the paper. So that is the importance of calculus for West Bengal Joint Entrance Examination, and as for that, any other exam. So you cannot, like you should not miss calculus in any way. You cannot leave it. And next important topic, if you look, that is, you see here, it's coordinate geometry, which has 15 questions. Now this includes straight lines, circles, parabola, hyperbola, ellipse, everything, and also those locus problems that are asked. So you can have a look. I will attach this PDF in the description, that the number of questions from each and every chapter that has been asked in the last 5 years, from 2016 to 2020. Okay, so here I have included probability with statistics. Okay, so actually statistics, I will be also discussing later the important concepts of each and every chapter. So in statistics, generally they are asking about standard deviation and variance, not mean, median, mode, that they are not asking. Okay, this log and exponential series, sometimes questions are asked based on series, so that is the part that has been covered over here. Vector 3D, as I said, is important and it is also easy, so you should not miss them. Permutation combinations, 2 to 3 questions are there in the paper. Sometimes you have them in those 2 marks questions that you have, +2 -half, that pattern, category 2. So because these questions are generally a bit on the tougher side, right? The questions of coordinate geometry can be a bit lengthy at times. You need to remember those equations of tangent, normal, the different cases, chord of contact, all these things you need to remember. They can ask questions on them, and it's not advisable or also not possible to derive those equations in the exam center, especially with the time constraint, right? Okay, now let's look at the important concepts of each and every chapter. So first, it's set theory. In set theory, what is important now here, it is based on WebG only. It's not for JEE. These concepts that I have mentioned over here, these are exclusively for WBJEE, right? So for set theory, the operations on set, union, intersection, difference, all these, the set algebra, Venn diagram, De Morgan's law, right, and the cardinality. Questions on cardinality have come on the previous years. If you see, you will find them. So these are the important concepts. Now there are also other problems, like this. Here I have mentioned only the important concepts. Obviously it is best advisable to study the whole chapter, the whole syllabus. You should not miss on anything, but here I am only stressing on the important concepts, right? Now next is inequality. Now, as you will not find any chapter as such in NCERT or any other book, inequality, but these two methods of solving, wavy curve method and solving modulus equations, this is very important because it is required in almost every chapter when you solve trigonometric inequalities. It is in fact sometimes required in calculus, in functions, when you find domain range, right? So this is very important, inequality. Now we look at quadratic equations. Roots of quadratic equations, very important for WebG, right? Then we have the remainder and factor theorem. Questions are sometimes asked on them. The concept of identity equation, when an equation is called an identity. The graphical interpretation of roots, like when a greater than 0, you know that when the parabola, that is if it is a quadratic equation, when the parabola will be upward open, when it will be opening downwards. So these are the a greater than 0, a less than 0, these conditions. Then real roots, complex roots, right? Then the leading coefficient, the concept, the range of a quadratic equation. Common roots is very important for WebG. This is very, very important. Now there are two conditions in this: condition for single common root and condition for two common roots. So both are very important. You must know both the both the conditions for finding common root for single common root and double common. Sometimes questions based on application of Rolle's theorem, which we study in calculus, is also mixed here with quadratic equations and asked. So here in quadratic, which is an important chapter, you get questions mixed with concepts of complex number also. So the most important part is common roots, roots of the equations, and the graphical interpretation of roots, right? Okay, next is complex numbers here. So obviously, complex number is a very important chapter in algebra. Basics of complex number you must know, else you won't be able to proceed. Like conjugate, argument, you must know how to find them. The representation of complex number in polar form, square root of complex number, these are all even coming in boards also. Now what is important for WebG is cube roots of unity and its properties. This is important from the point of view of WebG. Cube roots of unity is very important. A representation of complex number in Euler form, that's e to the power I theta, that form is important. Log of complex number. Now this question have come from this in the past year, that is 2020 only. De Moivre theorem, you must know, even a bit of application of De Moivre's theorem should be known, that is advisable. Now the most important part of complex number, and from any point of view of any examination which has complex number in it, is geometry of complex number. And the first one is equation of circle. Here this question directly came from equation of circle. They had given last year only, they had given the equation of a circle and in the complex form, and asked to find the center and the radius, right? So this is important, and so you must know the equation of complex number, like the straight line in complex form, angle between rays, the rotation theorem, and other etc. other properties, right? Next is nth roots of unity, the properties of the nth roots of unity. Cube roots of unity, however, should be given special focus, but you should also know about nth roots of unity in a bit. Some of the properties you can go through them, but the most important part in complex number is cube roots of unity, logarithm of complex number, Euler form, de Moivre's theorem, and the geometry part, that is the equations of the various like the various figures, circle, straight line. They generally do not ask ellipse, hyperbola, but you can just have a look at them. But straight line and circle are most important, and how to find the angle between straight line, the equations given in complex form, right? Okay, so the next part of algebra is series and sequence and series. Here, APGP, AGP, AGP series can be asked generally. That is important. You must know the AMGM, HM inequality, and applications of APGP, the different series that are being asked. And some what is important for WebG here is the properties of sigma notation, right? And here also there are two cases, that is the dependent and the independent variable, both you should know, and this is important from the perspective of West Bengal joint entrance examination, right? And if you see the question paper, as I shown you in the previous slides, from series and sequence a bit less weightage is given, but you should know these infinite GP series, those formulae and applications, and this property of sigma notation is important. Next is PNC. Now for PNC there is nothing as such, what should I say, like nothing important or less important, because every time a different question can be formed from permutation and combination, and you have to think for it. So, but still I have given some general important concepts which you must know. But for permutation combination there is nothing as such important or less important. You must understand the concept completely. For that, obviously, you can refer to our channel. The videos are being uploaded, and soon we will cover permutation also. Okay, so if you look at some of the concepts like grouping of the elements, they can be distinct or identical, both cases, division and distribution of objects into groups of same size or different size, the inclusion exclusion principle, this is important. Next is circular permutation, as you know, when the objects are arranged in a circle. Derangement is important. There is you must understand the concept obviously, and there is one important formula. Most of the sums are solved with that. However, the concept is important. And as I said, that various different types. Every time you open a book, you can find a new problem from permutation and combination. So nothing can be specified of it. But these are some of the just general concepts which you must know. Now, from binomial theorem, you obviously must know the binomial theorem. That is obvious. You must know how to find the nth term from the beginning, from the middle. They can ask the term with the greatest value. They can ask different types of questions from this binomial series, the different types of series, that is, those series that they give with C0, C1, those types of series, right? Multinomial theorem is important from the perspective of WebG. You must know multinomial theorem, how to find the nth term, those expressions, because obviously you cannot derive them in exam center. So for WebG, from binomial theorem, this nth term, how to find them for any given series, and the multinomial theorem part is important, right? Now for mathematical reasoning, now this is a very easy chapter, and you must not miss it at any one. You will find two or one question, definitely one question, definitely in some cases two questions also, and you cannot afford to miss them, right? This is an easy gainer. So you must know the truth table of and, or not. Those nor, NAND, XNOR, they are generally not asked. These three are the most important, and you must know these three terms: converse, inverse, and contrapositive. That is, they will give you suppose a sentence and will ask its converse form or contrapositive form, like that. So this is a very easy chapter, and you must not miss it at any way. You must not miss it. It is also very important for JEE mains. Every year one question is coming from it. So in any case, you should do it. Now let's move to probability. So again, probability, like bit like permutation combination, every time again new problem can be formed. Probability is also linked with PNC. Now here in probability, again I have listed some of the general concepts like what are independent events, mutually. Now sometimes questions are asked on these terms, like they will mention these terms on the question paper, so you must know what is the meaning of each and every term: independent, exclusive, exhaustive, mutually exclusive. What are the meanings? You must know them. We must know what is conditional probability, very important. The multiplication theorem, addition theorem, these are common things. Bayes theorem is important for West Bengal joint entrance examination. Questions come from it. Partition of sample space, total probability theorem is again important, right? And now the two important things, questions have come from here only: Bernoulli's trial and binomial distribution. Okay, so this is very important from WebG point of view. So for probability, you must know the terms, the different terms, as I mentioned. Question paper you may find them. And Bayes theorem, Bernoulli trial, and binomial distribution, right? Statistics, as I said earlier, only standard deviation and variance they will ask for both the continuous frequency distribution as well as for the discrete frequency distributions, right? And weighted mean is again one important thing that is asked in WebG. Generally, it's not asked in JEE, but in WebG they ask questions from weighted mean. Okay. Okay, now let's move to matrix. For matrix, again, here also there are some terms which you must know, like trace of a matrix, which is the sum of the principal diagonals elements, right? Transpose of the matrix. The different types of matrix you must know. There are many types. You must know all of them, because they, in the question paper, they will mention the terms, and if you don't know the term, you won't be able to solve the question, right? Symmetric, adjoint, inverse, circular, idempotent, nilpotent. There are many. Okay, and you must also know what is the meaning of each matrix, right? What is a singular matrix? That is when the determinant is 0. So for each and every matrix you must know. Okay, you must know how to find inverse of the matrix, adjoint of the matrix. All these you should know, and the properties of adjoint and inverse are also important. So for WebG, you must know the terms in case of of all the matrices, of all the different types of matrices, and the properties of adjoint and inverse of a matrix. Now if you move to determinant, obviously you must know how to find determinant. There are many shortcut tricks also that are available for finding the determinants, that is sometimes helpful in case of the examination, like in these time constraint exams. You must know minors and cofactors. Last time there was a question based on cofactors of the determinant, so this is important. Application in coordinate geometry, like how to find area of triangle, what is the condition of concurrent lines. This is again like for area of triangle we form that determinant to solve it, right? Now the properties of determinants, obviously when you find the determinant of a matrix, you must know the properties to simplify it. System of equation, very very important for WebG, JEE, everything. System of equation, they will give you those three equations or two equations and ask, for the condition of no solution, for the condition of unique solution, for infinitely many solutions. So you can solve this using Cramer's rule. So this is very very important, and question will come, definitely will come from this part. This is very important. System of linear equations here, right? Okay, now let's move to coordinate geometry, which is the next part. Okay, so here there are some basic concepts, and which you must know in order to solve the more difficult ones. So first is, if you look at the before, for coordinate geometry, before starting straight line, we must know some basic concepts. First is the locus of a point. This is very important. Questions can come from locus. Okay, you must know how to find the centroid, incenter, circumcenter. Now all these have fixed formulas. You can just remember them, because it is not possible to derive them in case of the examinations, right? Okay, next is the condition for parallel, orthogonal, and concyclic points and lines. This is also important for West Bengal joint entrance examination. And next is, as I've said, in case of determinant, you find the area of a triangle. Now here also you find, you are often given, now they ask in different ways. They can give you equations and ask you to find those in center, circumcenter. They can give you coordinates. Okay. Rotation and shifting is generally not asked in West Bengal joint entrance examination. Most important here is locus and this triangle part. Right, now let's next move to straight lines. You must know the different forms of the straight lines, which is even important for your boards. However, for WebG in particular, we find the perpendicular and the parallel conditions, the slope m1 m2 equal to -1. That condition is important. questions may be asked from there. Point of intersection, image of a point with respect to a line, this is very important. The triangle related all problems, now repeatedly telling this, triangle related problems are very important for WebG. Next is the angle between two lines, the distance between two lines, this is also very important. Next is family of lines, that one, this concept is important for WebG. Now there are many other concepts here in straight lines, you must know all of them, but I'm just stressing on the important concepts. So here, as I said, parallel, perpendicular is important, triangle related all concepts are important. Even in case of determinants, I have said angle and distance between two lines, family of straight lines, and the bisector angles, bisector equations, right? Now here you will find two types, one is the acute bisector, another is the obtuse bisector. So both you must just be careful while solving this. This question has also come in the previous years, right? Okay, next part of coordinate geometry is circle. Again, it's same as now. Here one important thing is there, the most important part is tangent condition, right? For any conic, for all the, in fact all of the conic sections except straight line obviously, the condition of tangency, tangent, equation of tangent, normal, very important, and questions have repeatedly come from there. Apart from this, you must know the condition for tangency, as I said, then equation of tangent I have said, intersection of two circles, very important questions have come from here in WebG. Orthogonal circles, the condition of orthogonality, this we will also see in case of differential equations. Image of a circle by a line mirror, okay, so this is important. And another is family of circles, like family of straight lines was important, family of circles is also important. So from circle we have equation of tangent, all the different forms, chord of contact, pair of tangents, everything from the point of view of tangent is very important. Intersection of two circles, orthogonal circles, family of circles, and the condition for tangents. Okay, now let's next move to parabola, ellipse, and hyperbola. These three I have listed together. More or less the same concepts are important from here as well. Again, most important will be equation of tangent, chord of contact, pair of tangents, all the different forms, all these are important. Condition of tangency, very important, as it's written also, very important for WebG, especially repeatedly questions have come from here. All the properties of tangent, normal, co-normal, even you should have a good idea about co-normal also, sometimes questions are even asked from there. Okay, so, and obviously those concepts of directrix, vertex, axis, eccentricity, latus rectum, these are general concepts which you must know for all of these conic sections. Okay, sometimes they ask questions on shifted parabola, so these also you must have a idea about that. But one more important thing is auxiliary circles. This is important for hyperbola and ellipse especially. This is very important. Questions have come from auxiliary circles. So again, pair of tangents, equation of tangent, condition of tangency, normal, equation of normal, co-normal. This is very important for WebG, and auxiliary circles. Okay. Okay. Now, okay, so I have not mentioned the calculus part. You must be knowing why the calculus part is left. It is not left. Actually, in calculus, everything is important and there is nothing as important concept or anything as such. Why? Because in calculus, mostly mixed questions are asked. That is, in questions of integration, in questions you will need the concept of limit. You may need the concept of differentiation. In case of differential equation, obviously the linear differential form, integrating factor one, that is the most important one. For definite integration, the limit of sum, that has been asked repeatedly. Last year also it was asked, that is very important. And in case of limits continuity, here you should know how to find out limits, especially by the L'Hospital rule. You must know the series expansion, because sometimes it is very applicable for evaluating limits. And for continuity and differentiality, you must know the definition. They give different types of functions. Now there is no such anything specific. They can give any type of function and ask you to find the continuity at that point. So for that you must have an idea of the graph of the function. That is very useful at some time. So for that you can have you must have the concept of graphical representation. Sometimes graphs help us to figure out the continuity or differentiability at a point. Okay, so that was in detail about the important concepts of each and every chapter from for that is being important in WebG, and questions have come from here in the last 5 years. So that's it for today. Then, just before ending, I would like to take you through the channel guide once. Like in our channel Dream Academy, you will find Dream Academia, you will find that videos are being posted regularly. And here, if you look, like even some exam related videos, like I have given this video on WebG last week, where videos of inorganic chemistry, organic chemistry, all are being posted regularly. Here, if you visit the playlist, you will find that even the playlist has been created. So if you guys keep supporting us and follow our channel, we will be there for your help always. Okay, so that's it for today. Bye bye.